The drive-thru, introduced in the 1940s to cater to hungry Americans. It wasn't until the 1970s, when McDonald's opened their first drive-thru location, that drive-thrus became the gold standard of limited service restaurants and began to replace drive-in restaurants. Drive-thrus offer convenience to millions of consumers every day, growing to account for roughly 70% of quick service sales prior to the pandemic, and have only surged in popularity over the last 2 years. But with a world that has changed so much over the last 80 years, aren't we due for something bigger? What if we could design a drive-thru using a blank sheet of paper? We believe it should be faster moving to keep up with today's demands and reduce carbon emissions from cars waiting for their orders. Additionally, it should be ultra convenient with your order already prepared. We also argue it should be digitally enabled, given this is the way customers are increasingly ordering. This would also provide the side benefit of richer data collection by restaurants and fewer employees needed to assemble orders. So, what would the drive-thru of tomorrow look like? Well, today we're in Lake Forest, California, near Chipotle Mexican Grill's headquarters to see this live in action.
Hello, this is Scott.
Hey Scott, it's Andrew Charles. How's it going?
I'm well, Andrew. I'm well. What's going on, big guy?
I'm in town actually. Do you want to grab a bite to eat?
Oh, I'd love to.
Awesome.
You want to swing by and grab me?
You got it. I'll be there in a few minutes.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Good morning, Andrew. Good to see you.
Likewise, how you doing?
Good, man. Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Where do you want to go? Where's your favorite spot?
We gotta go to Chipotle, obviously.
Done. I'm in.
Awesome, let's do it.
Love the car, by the way, Andrew.
Thank you.
Great economical choice given today's gas prices.
My goodness, we were driving around, gas is $5.50, $6 a gallon here, we gotta do it.
Scott, can you talk a little bit about the genesis of Chipotle Lanes? How did the idea come up, and how did you just conceptually, start to design these?
I joined Chipotle back in 2017, and in the early days, we had already begun putting in what we called then a second make line in most restaurants across the brand. The idea, if you will, was around removing people from the back end of long lines that would typically form in our in-restaurant experience. It wasn't well thought out, but it was very, I would say, cutting edge for the industry at that time, because a lot of people were talking about the digital experience and how do they get more people into their digital channels without a real sense of how to make that happen. And so we had the bright idea to literally cut a hole in the wall. We put digital pickup sign over the top of the wall, and we staged all the bags on shelving units. And so guests automatically walked in, went to the sign, saw their name on the bag, grabbed their food, and left. And digital sales went up almost 50% overnight. Further exploration began is how do I continue to remove friction points? And the idea came up is what if the guest never had to get out of their car to pick up their digital order? That just led us down a path of innovation.
Right.
And of course, moving towards a more, tech-forward organization,
right,
which is logical because the world was making that shift.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
Thus, the idea for the Chipotle Lane was born, so the guests could order digitally, get in their car, drive to the window, say, "Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm here to pick up my order," grab their food at their designated time, and drive away. So you have all the convenience of that traditional drive-thru experience, but at a speed that can only be delivered through order ahead.
Yep. What's your go-to Chipotle?
I don't have a go-to item. I eat all around our menu, only because I love our offerings, and each one can be very unique. Today, I'm definitely doing a burrito. I think our tortillas are the best. How about you? Hold that thought, Andrew. I'm going to plug it in as you talk.
I'll do a burrito, and I'm trying to remember off memory how to do it in order, but I believe it's brown rice,
Yep.
No beans, double chicken,
Got it.
tomato salsa,
Okay.
and guac, please.
Of course, guac. Of course, guac. I'm going to do a burrito. I'm going steak today. And brown rice, black beans, sour cream, and our hot sauce. Feeling a little spicy today. I'm sending it to our closest Chipotle Lane, and order pickup time is 10 minutes. All right.
Excellent. How do customers better understand how to use Chipotle Lane once you open it?
Yeah, great question. We wanted it to be a very intuitive process, and that if I had to explain it to the guests that we missed the mark. And so we wanted it to be something where the guests would order digitally, drive onto the lot, and just intuitively navigate their way to the window to pick up their food.
You know, I would imagine with the digital drive-thrus how much data you're collecting, and would love to know around data capture, you know, what lessons has this taught you guys so far?
The folks that we have in our loyalty program today are giving us a ton of feedback, whether that's how they've experienced our brand and how we can improve upon the things that are most important to our guests and deliver on our promise of really cultivating a better world. But also the CRM capabilities that now allows us to target different cohorts based on their needs, their wants, and reward them for using our brand at greater frequencies.
For these being the first 300 stores, what's kind of the next iteration of this? Can we expect to see double lane drive-thrus? Is the, you have one location now open that's a digital kitchen that's drive-thru only. Will we be seeing more of those in the future?
Yeah, all great questions. We have built now a digital-only restaurant in New York. We also have our digital drive-thru Chipotle Lane restaurant open and operating. And we think about these things as a menu of venues, if you will. And so as we go into a market, we begin to develop out a trade area. We use those as tools in the box to understand how do we meet the needs of the consumer within that trade area, and again, create a great experience overall. And so our highest and best use of capital will always be a freestanding standard Chipotle Lane restaurant. So that'll always be our first option. You could think about a digital only or a digital Chipotle Lane only restaurant as more of a seam strategy where we would go in and identify 2 very high volume Chipotle Lanes or Chipotle restaurants today, and we would put in a digital only restaurant to offload some of those digital orders into a digital only facility. And so that's how we would leverage that platform. Chipotle Lanes are the digital drive-thru of the future. And I recognize that a lot of brands are trying to figure out how can they deliver something similar within their standard QSR drive-thru format or footprint. And they're struggling to figure out how to get that done. I do think that there'll be a greater pivot of even traditional QSRs today moving to this new experience, because it's better for the consumer, but it's also better for the team member, right? Traditional drive-thrus, the team member experience can be quite chaotic, especially at peak. And our team members want to work in the Chipotle Lane and be a part of that, because they're reading orders off a screen, they're making the bowls, burritos, and tacos, getting it ready for the consumer, and then you pull up, having had such an easy experience and such a frictionless experience with a big positive smile and happy to be there and receive your food. And it's just a great experience, and it's very seamless. So I think that's important to note as we think about the future of drive-thrus altogether.
Hi, picking up for Scott. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Super stoked about
So
this.
hungry. It's such a beautiful day too.
I know, right?
Awesome. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, man. That is it. Wow. What a great burrito. This would be the best food you eat all week.
Amen to that. Scott, I'd love to know, in terms of the drive-thru of the future, where do you see the industry going? Like, what do you think the most important parts of the Chipotle Lane are that you think will be replicated by the rest of, limited service? And, I guess within that, does it make you nervous in terms of site selection that this is going to put more competition, on finding desirable sites?
Yes, yes, and yes. If you think about what happened to traditional brick and mortar, 10, 15 years ago, where it went through this digital transformation and people stopped going to some of the big box retailers and ordering things digitally directly to their home. We saw the hospitality industry, the restaurant industry, really making that shift 5-6 years ago. And that trend really accelerated during the global pandemic. And more users are coming into the digital ecosystem, whether our brand or other brands, right? And so I think that will continue, and I don't think it slows down. It will never, in my mind, fully replace the human experience. And I think as human beings, we naturally want to congregate and gather together and enjoy an occasion over a meal. I don't think that ever goes away fully. But I do think more brands will recognize a shift to digital if they're able to capitalize on that shift. And some of the more traditional QSRs and even fast casuals that are more entrenched will find it difficult to really fully leverage a fully digital experience in their brands. We are far enough out front now with 300 locations. We're going to build more than 70-80% of our pipeline this year will be in Chipotle Lane restaurants. I think we have really great networks across the country to continue to grow and develop and expand. So I think we're in a favorable position.
Scott, thank you so much for lunch today. It's been awesome to spend time with you and to learn more about the Chipotle Lane strategy, and we're excited to see what the future has in store.
Love it. Thanks, Andrew.
Cheers.
I hope this gives you an idea of where restaurant drive-thrus are heading in a post-COVID-19 world. Digitally enabled drive-thrus have a virtuous cycle of providing a better customer experience, leading to a higher mix of digital sales, which leads to better data analytics, and then leads to improved unit economics, which enables continued development of the drive-thru of the future over the long term. This new drive-thru format favors newer restaurant concepts, given the challenge legacy drive-thru operators face in pivoting the service format. Though we look forward to what legacy drive-thru operators can learn from the drive-thru of tomorrow.